Fuck it, we'll just do it live. Oh, I probably should turn the fucking fans on, actually. I'll be smoking a cigar. Jesus Christ. I'm about professional. There we go. And now it's making all kinds of fucking noise. There we go. Nice. Good evening, everyone. This is another episode of Wide Open Phones. Coming to you live from Fort Sky Dungeon up in the Pacific Northwest, where I have the best sniper position on my block. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Challenges. Possibilities.
Hang on. Oops. I'm already hitting the wrong buttons. Actually, I am hitting the wrong buttons because I'm looking for the wrong thing. What the hell is that? Hang on. Your standards lowered the bar. Somebody I knew I just subscribed to, actually. Red Sings the Blues. He looks like he's younger than I am, to be honest. Also, did it just get dark in here racially wise? Oh, somebody named Jana Hawkins, I guess? All right. Sure. Whatever. So I guess there's that. All right. Let me queue up what I wanted to play here. You guys probably saw that on the screen. The what do you call it? The thumbnail. Funny enough, Rage on this comment up there. I think he's my most recent subscriber, which means he actually got let back onto YouTube. Says he's got to take a shit. That's one of the things I had to do once I got back here. I haven't had to do that in quite a while, now that you mention it. But I had to once I got back here. Very interesting. I really haven't been following too much of a diet. Pretty much I've just been going with whatever the hell's in the fridge. Or whatever I end up getting. So nothing too big. By the way, I've been for Nick's thing there. I think he went up quite a few pounds. I went up about 10 pounds. I think I was about 180 or so when I left for his place, on the Salt Lake thing and all that other stuff. By the time I got back, I was about 190 pounds. My lowest actually being was it 178 or so. I think I broke the cigar actually. So yeah, I think I hit a low of about 182 pounds. Now is about 3 or 4 days ago. I've since gained a few more pounds. And of course, if I weigh myself now, I'm gonna weigh, obviously more because I've been drinking water and, well, actually that's about it. Cool. Let's see if we can spark this off. AJ Fuentes is what this is called, and I left this in my pocket and it got kind of bent. And the funny thing is, what did I do with the wrapper? Actually, here it is. The name of it's actually called Curly Head. There's some other things there for that. Hopefully, it's still intact inside. I don't know. Having trouble connecting. What? No, I think I broke it. I left it in my fucking pocket. No, this live stream has not been delayed due to blockade of trains. It was other things. I am barely getting any of the smoke off of this. I don't see any. I don't see anything coming out of anywhere else. That's interesting. I'm getting some smoke off of it, which is nice. I got a glass of wine sitting next to me, and leave that one up. I'm waiting for it to chill down. It's the finest, as far as I could tell, box wine you can get. I've been doing experiments with that. I'm not drinking that right now. I have my own mix of margarita. Not bad. So I had some old salt that I had with it, and the only problem that I've had, I guess it kind of clumped up a bit, which makes it harder to get it on the rim. So if you want, most of it, basically you have to, if you want the salt, you kind of have to add it to whatever you're drinking. In this case, a margarita, my 0-carb margarita. Now I'm getting much more smoke out of this. Okay. This didn't break the bank. This is about $4.99. I think $4.49 actually. So again, I'll go over this again. Why am I doing this show? Why am I doing Live Phones? For a couple of reasons. For starters, I usually would be out at a bar. It's just past 3 minutes past 00 hours. So you should be at the bar drinking something and maybe talking to people who also happen to be at the bar. And for you, maybe the bars are open and they're doing the mask thing as they're doing up here, and they're really enforcing it. Despite it not really being legally enforceable, but that's a whole nother discussion entirely. Maybe you object to that, and you end up finding yourself at home. Or, as a lot of places are, you things just aren't open at all. That's how this got started. I'm going to turn down the heat on this. It's getting colder up here, by the way. I believe it's in the 50s outside, and I'm 2 stories up, so I have 2 floors worth of heat to actually go off of. So I'm at advantage when it comes to winter, especially if we have electricity and gas and all this stuff, which you have both of them. At some point, I'll get the heater reinstalled again. Rage is playing video games. Good for him. How are you able to comment, but I'm not able to see if you logged in? That's interesting. Oh, well, there it is. Now I can see him. Yeah, maybe things are still closed down in your area. Maybe you don't have anywhere, that you either can't go or won't go. Maybe you're stuck at home playing video games. So that's what the show is for. It's on a Saturday night for a reason. These are hours that, you normally be at a bar or a club or whatever, and that might it's not an option for you anymore. So this is what this show is about. This is what it's for. The other thing is that, okay, we could do the StreamYards thing where you join me, and if we need to do that, we can figure that out. I can't do it right now. Based on my current configuration, it won't work. I'll just put it that way. So the best way would be to call in. And maybe you're low on internet. Maybe, for whatever reason you have maybe cell service or landline service or whatever, you know, like Ray John, he's using a lot of his internet right now. He says he's playing so he can listen to the podcast, which now a podcast is the live stream, but I understand what you mean. Maybe you use your internet for other things. Maybe you're mining Bitcoin. Who knows? But your phone line is open. Most people these days, they get unlimited calling. They get unlimited text. I remember way back when I was in high school, yeah, that was a thing where you had to buy minutes, and you had to buy text, and you had to kind of closely monitor that shit. I still remember. Ooh, that's much better. Okay, I guess it didn't break the cigar after all. It was bent but not broken, much like a lot of rules these days. Some requiring face coverings. There was one chick that I kind of had the hots for, and then things just did not work out with. But she wanted to use my phone to basically talk to other people, and I was stupid enough to fucking allow it. But it was back in those days, you know, like you got to pay for those fucking texts, or you got an allotment for them. And if you went over that allotment, guess what? You can't talk to anyone anymore. You can't text anymore. This is back in the days where minutes actually fucking mattered. So that's not the case these days. These days, all you're paying for is basically data. 1 megabyte, 3 megabytes, 5 megabytes, 10 megabytes, 20 megabytes, not megabytes, sorry, gigabytes is actually that fucking high now. Or like I have for the big screen that I'm broadcasting to you on, I have unlimited. And that only cost me an extra $5. The $45 plan being, what was it, 8 megabytes or something, which is all I needed. But I started doing that because, you know, I want to listen to live streams. Live stream almost every fucking day now, including who's going to be coming up here. That'd be one Cris Von Erik. He's one of the reasons I got the inspiration to do this as a call-in show rather than having somebody on StreamYards or having somebody join on what do you call on Instagram, whether it's in the private chat or it's a live stream there. It's a completely different format. It's more akin to what radio is like. Now, radio, I'll give you kind of insider information as far as radio is concerned. When you call into radio, you maybe you're put in a waiting queue or something, or you know the phone rings and then it kind of drops off eventually if it's really busy. But if you get in, you have to talk to a screener. Now, back in the Tom Likas days, Tom Likas, blowmeuptom.com, by the way, that's his website. Cigar is definitely lighter than the punch one I had last night on End Times Report, but pretty good nonetheless. This Holy gets ash, by the way. Might just go ahead and dump it just out of as a preventative measure. You know, Tom Likas, you know, there was Loveline, you know, with Dr. Drew and his other buddy. There's a lot of AM stations. They have talk shows there. Usually when you call in, you don't talk to the host directly. You get a screener. And the screener decides, you know, especially if there's a topic that they want to talk about, they make sure that whatever you want to talk about lines up with their topic. So let's just say Ray John, you know, he calls in, the topic today is regret, okay? And so Ray John decides to call in. He gets a screener, and we talk about stories, you know, like, okay, is there something that you kind of regret, you know, happening or whatever? If it's along those lines. And he calls and he talks about all the gay questions that he asks him, and talks about video games. And he's a Trump supporter now and Birdie 2020. And somehow those are okay. I was like, okay, you're probably going to get turned away. But if your story, it lines up with whatever the hell whatever the topic is, okay, you get let in. Usually there's a queue there. You could have depending on the soundboard, 5 callers, 10 callers, 20 callers, whatever. And then when your time comes up, you usually get some sort of notification or some noise will alert you that you're on. And for what Lycus's software, and later to the men's room, who upgraded to what Lycus had, it was a cowbell. And I know this because I called into both of their shows. So that's what it's like calling, and then you're talking to the host. You're talking to them live. Keep in mind, if you're on the radio, there's an already delay. There's usually, most radios, they have a delay built in case somebody, especially on a talk show, if they curse or something. There's 7 words, and then there's other things you can't say. As per FCC guidelines, the Federal Communications Commission, if you're not a part of the states. So if you say one of those words, and they can get fined, literally they can get fined 6-figure income. I think it's like $325,000 US cash, by the way. They can get fined 6 figures for each violation if the FCC hears about it. And so they have what's called, they have a delay. It's usually about a minute or two, or maybe not a minute, about a minute or so. 20 seconds for each one. You have a dump button, it'll dump the last 10, 15, 20 seconds if you say a bad word, basically. And if they start getting close, they'll stop taking calls. That's what the men's room does. And that's what Tom Likas used to do. But now, if you're doing kind of a live show, also online, there's also about 30, 40-second delay. See, here there's no delay because I don't need one. YouTube is not going to censor me because somebody says fuck, or they say orgasm, or they say cream pie, or whatever. But if you're broadcasting, outside of you doing your own thing, there's also the delay of if you go to radio.com and type in KSW or the men's room or whatever. There's also a delay because there's a digital part that has to kind of convert over, basically, from however they're recording it to a format that your smartphone or your computer or your laptop or whatever can understand. There's also that delay. Then you add on top of it maybe another delay because that's something like us did. And in the men's room, since they are simulcasting on the radio and online, that's just kind of inherent in that program. So you may be listening to something and it was talked about, you're basically 2 minutes behind, at the worst. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what kind of goes behind, what goes on behind radio, actual radio, and even the podcast. So just adjust this. And again, if you guys want to call in, Rajon, are you on the Canadian side of the border these days, or are you on the U.S. side? You're very fucking mysterious as far as that goes. If you are, anybody listening, if you guys want to call in, hold off your calls because this I have a video that's about 9 minutes long. hold off on your calls, but I'll give you the call number. Just go ahead and write it down. You're going to need it. It is 253 397 8430. That is 253 397 8430. That is 253 397 8430. Now I'll give that out in the comment section. But this is I wanted to give you guys know who Cris Von Erik is, the Red Lens guy. Has a pretty good show. All right, Ray John's on the Canadian side, so he'll have to like go to his local corner store if it's even open and get like a calling card or something. I think you need that to call people in Canada, or if you're Canadian, you need to call them in the U.S. They give you like some special card or something like that. Thanks for clearing that up, Ray John, by the way. Thanks for subbing, by the way, too. By the way, I like your profile pic there. It's pretty cool. But somebody called now what Cris Von Erik, he does probably he has his own like the Red Lens when he talks about whatever he talks about as far as the Red Lens thing. He said he could try. Hold off a minute there. I'll give you the announcement when I put the number in the chat. By the way, if you have a what was it number? I don't know if Canada. I don't know what Canadians free number is. I know, the U.S., since we came up with the telephone system, we're number 1. Russia's number 7, and there's like other, country codes or whatever. I don't know what it is for Canada. You can tell me in the chat if you want. But if it's number 1, I think you should just be able to directly call. But he does something called kind of like this. It's a call-in program. It's called You Got a Problem. And if you have a problem, you can call him and talk to him about it. A lot of times he talks about like red pill stuff. And this is one of the things, that, oh, you do use number 1. Okay, cool. All right, perfect. You should be able to call in. Give me about 10 minutes or so. We're going to listen to basically the topic that I had today. And then we can get to whatever else you guys want to talk to. This is wide open phones. That's why it's called wide open phones. You have a topic you want to talk about? Then we can talk about it. I have no problem. Whatever is in your mind, bring it up here. This is your open platform. You can say whatever you want. You can call me an asshole. You can say you're gonna come vivisect and like gut me or whatever. That's fine. Talk about whatever you want. I'm pretty sure most people won't think of that unless they're other people won't talk about, but you're free to say it. By the way, I'm not going to tell the Royal Canadian Mounted Police what you said if it goes against whatever laws you have up there in Canada about speech and stuff. Trust me, I ain't going to say that. But without further ado, let's I think this is it. It's You Got a Problem is caller highlight number 1, and this is what I listened to this afternoon when I woke up, and it gave me the inspiration to talk about this. Let's go ahead and play that.
Hey Chris, how you doing? This is Zorro. You can call me Lino. You know me because I send you a message. I don't have any specific problem in my own life to discuss, but I guess you can cover what you were talking about with the red pill versus black pill, as I've been following this for several years lately, and I noticed in my journey and discovery, I find myself growing through various topics and learning more, and then as you grow, I'm more mature. I'm not a kid, so I find that I no longer have use for a specific teacher, for example, or something. I learn more, and that's how I've been getting lately too. I've been realizing that some of these red pill
either one you want, Ray John. Though I don't know who's in the MMA, so I wouldn't be able to give any specific advice. You would have to tell me what their fighting styles are. We continue.
content creators. They're just very geared towards like the kiddish group, and it seems like it's very hard to find a mature, teacher such as yourself, and it's been turning me off lately. It's like, and I work in a job where I could actually listen, to this content as a good portion of the day. I can imagine someone who really doesn't have that time, but they're all saying, subscribe to me, subscribe to this guy, subscribe to this guy too. It's like, and then what are you going to get a chance to do? All it is just, theory, and that's been frustrating me. Like they're just, and I don't have a problem with, like I said, the books, but, get my program, and they act like you never read a book on, they act like you never read a book. They act like you never read a book on the scarcity tactics in your life. I got so many of those books, on Audible about the power of influence. And this is going to be $3.97, and if you don't get in, and then next quarter it's $4.97, and $5. This is the last year, and then they do it again. It's like, come on, man. I mean, that's pathetic. It's like nobody. Do you not think that somebody has a clue about your little scarcity tactic selling? And so they've just been really frustrating me lately. Some of these guys, and I just got rid of a bunch of them. And I'm glad, because I need more time in my day to start listening to my books and not just listening to the same regurgitated content all day, and actually have time to start doing. Because I feel like I'm more like 80% theory and 20% doing, when it should be the other way.
No, and you're absolutely right. It should always be the other way around, because I say this a lot to people. You can read 1,000 books. Okay, and whether it's something like The Rational Male or whoever your favorite author may be, there comes a time when you have to say, okay, I read all this, I understand it, and then you apply it to however it, fits into your life. Exactly. And that's what, and you said it so well right there. That's where the rubber meets the road. A lot of guys don't have, 4 hours a day to watch 4 or 5 different, types of different podcasts.
As I feel like, I said in the chat that you feel you outgrow some of these guys, because they just confine it to such a limited, understanding of what this really is, and until and that's just getting. For somebody like myself, I like to research various issues, and it just gets to be really pathetic. And you find some of these red pill content creators, they claim to be, so expertise in intergender, relations, but they have no idea of so many other things in life. They have no idea that, we're living in a modern time now, but these sports if you actually do your research and you apply yourself, you'll find that most of these sports games are not even real. They're fixed and they're rigged, and everything's done by this code, that these, these powers that shouldn't be psychopaths who rule over us are doing. So it's like, you want to be more diversified in learning, and just, how can I get my notch count up? And I mean, it's just,
and hey,
for me, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you're right. And, it's tough, because I can understand where those guys are going, and like you just said, they're dynamic, that their target audience might be a little bit younger. Okay, so a lot of it is predicated on that, where okay, we're getting the young guys, and they're still out there running around going crazy. Now, I still like to run around a little bit, but I don't nearly run around nearly as much as I used to. But
Same.
That's where that's coming from. So just keep that in mind. They're very localized in the audience that they're trying to appeal to when they're doing stuff like that.
In terms of my own life, just getting more specific, I actually am with I'm with someone who's a very, very good woman, and I'm really glad that I finally ironed it out with myself, because there was some points where listening to this stuff, was good, but it was having a little bit of a backfire too, where I'm like, how can I apply all this knowledge if I go ahead and make it work for the person I'm with? And, so I still had some regrets. I should be out there and, slaying or whatever this nonsense people, say. But I'm just really glad that everyone has to come to their own realization and journey, how to iron this out in your own life, because like anything good, too much of it could really,
Oh yeah, no,
have it in your brain.
Absolutely, you can adopt a lifestyle that's very bad for you and completely go off the rails, and it takes you down paths you don't want to go down. But I'm glad that you called in and you shared at least that you're on the right track. You're happy with where you're at, and that's really that's really all. At least myself, that's all I want for the people that watch the stuff that I put out there. If I can leave you better than what you were before, then I did my job.
What do you what's your like a good? I mean, besides continuing learning and every day, improvement, even if it's slow incremental learning, little improvements here and there. When you get to those, I'm sure I'm not the only person that's going through this, but there's times when you get that little bit of I don't want to call it depression, but it's just like some kind. It sinks in, that when you learn some of this stuff and you didn't apply it sooner in your life, and you realize you could be at a state. You can be. What I'm trying to say is, your life. You have regrets, basically, because that had you learned a lot of this stuff sooner, maybe your life wouldn't be in the situation it is now in certain aspects. It's like I would like to hear. Maybe in the future we could talk more like something like that, or your opinion, or
Well, I mean, I'll give you my quick opinion right now, and you just outlined the life that I lived. I share that story all the time where my coming to the red pill and the realization of what it is was not like through trauma. It wasn't like, oh my God, this girl just broke up with me, or I got a massive divorce and my world is upside down. Mine was very reflective in that, just as you just said, I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I wish I knew when I was in my 20s about what I've learned in the last 5 years. That's why I did this. That's why this didn't work out, or I had a tougher time with this. But there is no time machine. Okay, you can't go back 10 years. But what you can do is you can take the stuff that you've learned yourself, what you just said here before, and continue to make better choices and live the better life that you're living, with what you've understood. That's what I'm doing. I'm going forward, man. I am flushing it down, and I am going to send you out with a flush too. There we go. Flushing all that badness right down. Get it the hell out of here. Waste not is not wanted.
Exactly. So that's the clip I heard this afternoon. And that's what inspired what I had to say here. Give me a second. I'll put the... Christ, I hit the wrong button. My bad. Give me a second. I'm new to this. I'm old. Give me a minute. But that's what inspired. I had something else completely different to talk about. But I'll put the number. If you guys want to call in, there's a number. 253-397-8430. That is 253-397-8430. 253-397-8430. This is a call-in program. So it's there. You want to call in, you got something you want to talk about, sure, call in. What's on your mind? What's going on in your world? I would love to hear it. Go ahead and call in. As far as that goes, guy kind of is lamenting basically, had he known beforehand what mistakes he was making, maybe he would have made different decisions. Maybe he would be a different person. Maybe he'd be in a different place, time, whatever. Who knows? But therein would be my point, to be honest. You don't know what position. As far as we know, And as far as we can affect it, time loop moves linearly. You can't go back in time and change decisions. So fine, man. Trust me. I'll tell you myself. I made quite a lot of bad decisions. Some of them worse than others. Let's just talk relationships for a second. I decided to get with Hot Russian Next, and I decided to commit 100% to her. With the idea being, if it didn't work with her, then it's not going to work with anyone else. And guess what happened? It didn't work with her. There's other things I could have did with her. I could have been more, hard-handed, basically. I could have taken more of a charge than I did. I definitely could have taken more of a charge than I did. And she even said as much. And she's now with somebody else, by the way, and it's still the same fucking city that she says she wanted to get away from. But I have that experience, and I can tell you about that experience. I can tell you what road that leads down. And there are people here who will actually fucking listen. Now, had I actually taken that path, maybe would I still be with her? Maybe. I don't know. Same thing in Bowl of Chaos. She did the same fucking thing. If I'd taken more of a, more charge, have I been more in command, who knows where it would be? Maybe we'll be together. Maybe we'll have actually met her kids. I never met her kids, by the way. That was by design. But who knows what could have happened? Maybe we'll be together. Maybe I'll still be in the old place I was before and not in the place that I'm in now, which I think is, in every respect, way better than where I was before, just except for one, which I could talk to you about that offline. But I'm in a much better place now. I didn't see that shit coming. So I look back and say, hey, I could have did this, I could have did that. Maybe should have been there. I could have did this, I could have did that, and I could have kept my old apartment. I could have did this, could have did that. Who knows? Maybe I would have never moved out of California in the first fucking place if I thought that way. Don't get me wrong. I understand the regrets side. Like you're looking back again, hindsight being 2020. I understand. It was like, hey man, if I did this, then I wouldn't have had to give this up. But understand, whatever you did at the time, maybe there was a reason you had to give that up. Maybe there was a reason that whatever action you took, look, you're still here to talk about it. So as far as we're again talking about the whole martial arts thing, as far as I'm concerned, you made the right choice because you're here to talk about it. You're not in jail. You're not in the ground. So clearly you did something right because you're here to talk about it. But even if you do have kind of regrets about that, what's it going to do for you? What is regretting something in the past going to do for you in the present or in the future? Even a bigger question. Outside of a time machine, which last I checked, we don't really have, at least not now. You can't change that. And so if you can't change something, then why are you worried about it? All you're doing with worrying about things that you can't change, you're wasting time on that instead of doing something that you can make a change on. Okay, you didn't get this girl. You're worried about that instead of worrying about another girl who may be even better that you're not spending time trying to get. I get it. Anybody who's listening before, like, you want the girl to come get you, but just understand that at least. We're just talking about time allocation here. Okay, you missed this job opportunity, but rather than look for another job opportunity, which may be even better than the one you were going for, or housing. I just went through this actually. There was a standalone house that I wanted to get. And apparently everybody else in the area wanted to get this house. So I would have been the perfect place for them because they had utilities that needed to be paid for. And I will say, you know, just one single guy living by himself versus, like, I don't know, a fucking family. They're going to use a lot less in terms of utilities, which is something they'll have to pay. That's something that they will have to factor in. And I like that. A big backyard at like 2 fucking rooms that I could either put I could either make a bedroom or a studio or whatever. It was off the beaten path. It was pretty close to everything. Wasn't that far off from the place that I ended up leaving. Now they ended up denying my application. They found somebody else which they thought was a better fit for them. I don't know who it was. I don't know how many people. I don't know. But the place that I'm at now, sure, it's a fourplex. It's one single building. I still have not roommates, but kind of what I had before. It's like there's other people that live in the building. They're different units. People that are below me, they make their own fucking noise, which is that was the major contention point as far as the other people go. And that was something I asked about specifically. And so his bedroom is okay, it's not directly over my bedroom, which if I have a woman over, that's going to be a real fucking problem. Ask me how I know. This wine is still really cold, by the way. That's one thing. Okay, so the noise problem that's going to be taken care of. Even the people who are more sensitive, they're on the first floor. I'm on the third, so I'm insulated by basically the property manager here, who he's more worried about his noise than I'm worried about mine. That was concern number one. Concern number two, which I didn't think was going to be much of a concern anyways, based on the way I do things. I smoke cigars. This is a non-smoking building. I'm smoking up a storm here right now. One of the first things I didn't even notice this, but my liberal buddy noticed because she helped me move the first load in here. She was there for the first of the 3 days I moved everything in. She kind of came to me in a hushed voice. I didn't even notice. She's like, dude, I smell weed. This guy's getting high as fuck at his own place. And by the way, he smokes cigarettes too. That would be a big no-no. But one, again, I'm on top of them, so good luck. If I have to fuck up things, if I'm just smoking chain things, like maybe it will get down to them, but I'm up top. I don't know if you knew this. Smoke kind of rises. So if you're in a building higher than or on the top floor, compared to the other ones, even if I don't do anything else, they're not going to smell it anyways. But even then, I got the fucking window frame. I just redid them. I just fixed one of the, or I didn't fix one of the blades. I replaced one of the blades, one of the fans actually. Cleaned them, all that kind of stuff. Reinforced a lot of stuff here. I still want to get plexiglass at some point. Probably, I'm going to have to wait a few weeks for that until all this COVID bullshit is over, because all that's being used in like kind of blast shield shit. But I'm good. The other thing is, I don't want my place to smell like smoke anyways. That's why I take the measures that I do. I did the same thing at the second story basement. I'm doing the same thing now. I'm seeing in front of an exhaust and near water where I could douse this cigar, once I'm done with it, in water so it's not smelling anymore, or it's not smoldering. I'm going to turn this back up. Need some more heat. So no, I don't regret what I did. I don't regret the actions that I took. I don't regret what got me here in the first place, because hadn't I done that, I might not be here in the form and function that I am now. Sure, I lost Hot Russian Eggs. I lost Bowl of Chaos. And I'm not saying that I'm glad that I lost them. They were both very wonderful people for what they were, for who they were. I still wish that maybe if we could have them around, I could have them around in the way that I want, sexually, sensually, intellectually, by the way. They're very fucking smart and cerebral people, by the way. It's not that I don't miss their personalities. It's not that I don't miss their bodies. I miss both of those. I really do. I think about both of them every day. What would have happened if they stuck around? Talk about Howard Stern. What would happen if she stuck around? If my work had slowed down the way it did because of this COVID bullshit, and then she had to start paying bills again, do you think she'd be okay with that? Might have been even worse. If the events that led up to me having to leave the second story basement and ended up finding this place, if that didn't happen, and again, if I had all the mounting bills and all this other shit happening with the lack of funds to pay for it, I'm paying $200 on average less than I used to live at the old place. And by the way, here's a tip for you. Don't worry, Ray John. I saw your question. I'm going to get to that. I'll give you the okay to call in about 4 or 5 minutes or so. If I had the extra $200 a month that I had to pay for other things, where I'm running things down to the fucking wire, basically, where I am now, what would it be like if I was there? Like even if I told him, like a lot of my the old landlord, the man, what you call him, pretty much every other tenant who was there, I was the only one who paid on time. Every single time. Every single fucking time. Think about monthly. That's 12 times a year. I was there for 5 years plus. So out of that, there was one time that he didn't get paid on time, and that was because I had Hot Russian X write a check to him because I forgot, and she used the wrong checkbook. That's the only fucking time he didn't get paid on time. Yeah, had any of that worked out, I might still be in the other place, which is $250 a month more expensive than where I live now. I may not have been inspired to look for a different place. I may not have found this place at all. Now, instead of neighbors, aside from the ones who were next door, I think they would fucking defend me. And in fact, they fucking did. They came to the door armed. But everyone else, and I like to comp out that I was it. It had a nice courtyard. Had kids running around, and the kids were pretty fucking cool. But no, we're talking about like the end times. Like there's gonna be rioting in the streets. I think I'm in a much better place now. My old door, should you get to it, pretty easy to kick in. Not so much with my new one. My neighbors these days, a lot better armed and armored, unlike my old ones. Do I regret what happened? Okay, I guess in an electrical sense, then I kind of do because I could have did things much better. Maybe I wouldn't have hit on those 15-year-olds that I thought were like 18 or 19 or whatever. And it would have kicked off that wouldn't have kicked off the cascade of the events that happened afterwards. But then I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be at the place I am now. Places in most aspects, as far as I'm concerned, is better. Fine, I'm not at the center of literally everything. But you know what? If I have to be whole about a place, this is it. Keep in mind, I still shop in my old spot. I still shop at I still shop in my old town because they don't care about this whole fucking mask thing for the most part. And that's something I appreciate. And at least I can give my new town like kind of a bit of a break because the crackdown is a lot more militant here than it is in places like, I don't know, Seattle. Actually more militant about that in my old place because the brewery that I used to be literally 3 minutes walking away, walking to from my place. They've had like 3 or 4 fucking inspections there, including the mask bullshit. So I can understand them being a little more stringent, and even then they're not dealing with that bullshit. They don't like it either. Nobody likes it. But yeah, do I regret my actions? Do I regret what I did? A little bit. I'll be honest with you. I didn't want to lose Bald Chaos. And I certainly didn't want to lose Hot Russian X. That was my one. She was the one. It's like, this is the one I wanted to basically spend the rest of my life with. That's how I viewed her. Even when I was like I was 7 or 8 or something like that, I ran into some chick who was like, she also was named Tatiana. She was black too, but whatever. I was like, I think that's the sexiest name ever. And so if I meet someone like that who has that name, it's like, and we're okay with each other, it's like, that's who I want. And I fucking found her. I fucking found her. Had the same name and everything. And we had everything in common. I was like, this is a dream come fucking true. And so if that failed, then I'm not worried about any other relationship ever. All my eggs went into that fucking basket. That's probably not a good idea if you're thinking about settling down with anyone. I didn't care. I knew if this doesn't work out, nothing else will. And lo and behold, 6-7 years later, turns out it didn't. And now I'm here. Cigars or video games? Ray John, feel free to call in. 253 397 8430. That is 253 397 8430. That is 253 397 8430. Crazy, she even told me, look, let's just enjoy the time we have together because I don't know how long I'm going to be around. That's what she told me. And I even asked her, do you really see a future without me? And she said, yes. That should have been a warning sign. You know, and it's something I didn't take seriously until it happened. There's a certain person here. I don't know who it is. Rajan says, I suck at doing the live stream without a script. Dude, you can call in and talk about whatever the fuck you want. That's the idea of wide open. That's why it's called wide open phones. Call in, talk about whatever the fuck you want. That's the idea. 253 397 8430. I don't have that much cigar left, so you might want to call in now. Maybe about 10 minutes of this left because the skin is coming off of this. Because I fucked up the cigar. I mean, those things happens. It happens. Because as far as processing regret or whatever, look, it does you no good. It really doesn't. It's shit that happened. And either you move on from it or you don't. And if you don't want to move on from that, then I can't help you. But you can't change the past. As far as I know. You can't redirect it, you can't correct it, whatever. And so you learn from it, You take the lessons from that and you apply it to whatever future circumstances you end up in. That's what you do. There's a reason I played that. Right, John, by the way, you were talking about MMA title fights or communism. You can call in about that too. We can talk about that. Again, 253-397-8430. Still waiting for the fucking phone to buzz. Yeah, cigars are video games. I'm smoking a cigar right now. What do you think? I think I turned up the heat on this. I'm sitting next to an oven. I'm in the kitchen area. Just so you know. In the kitchen, I hope you're sitting down for this. There's an oven here. Pretty nice one. It's a Wedgwood, I think. Real compact. And it's a very good oven as far as efficiency goes. As far as the burners go, as far as the oven part goes, works really well. Turn that up a bit, just because it can. I have wings sitting in there. That's what I'll be eating after this. One thing I noticed about it is that there's a grill section for it, but the thing I noticed is that where the burners are, it's directly below or is directly above the little shelf where if you wanted to broil something, like if you had some shrimp or something, it's directly below that. So it's already in broil mode no matter what. Doesn't matter what you're cooking. So I might take advantage of that at some point. Who's the second person that's showed up here? That's what I want to know. Ray John's here, but who's the second one? Is it Nick Schulander? Is it Bull Rush? But that's what I don't know. That's what I had to talk about. It helps to have a topic, even if it's kind of wide open things, which you would hope somebody would call in and talk about whatever the hell they want to talk about. But I always have something to talk about, and that's what I was thinking. Look, you can always regret whatever actions you took, but you know what? They're all in the past. So it doesn't do you that much good. You know, learn from your past mistakes and stuff. There's that. I understand it. But you made the decision. It already happened. You can't go back and change it. So why worry about it? Trust me, there's a lot of things that I kind of wish I had not done. But Honestly, I wouldn't be here doing this show now if I had listened to myself back then and not did what I did. There's a lot of things that I did that basically they led to where I am now. And I'm not going to regret that. It led to me being who the fuck I am now. So why would I regret that? Why would I regret what made me today? By the way, in case anyone wants to call in and talk about whatever the hell they want to talk about, 253-397-8430. That is 253-397-8430. I'm coming up on the end of the cigar, by the way, so you might want to call in sooner rather than later. Again, this is for people who maybe they were gonna go to the bar but the bar closed at 10 p.m. They call it last call at 9:30 or some bullshit like that. And you want someone to talk to, I'm right here. So for the next 10, maybe 20 minutes, who knows? I'm right here. You can call in. My phone line is open, 253-397-8430. Tell you what about this cigar? It's holding a what do you call it? An ember, but not a good enough one. I have to keep relighting it. That's much better. Ray John, if you're listening, what's going on in your life, actually? Apparently, you don't want to call in because you've been tuned in for over an hour now. Maybe you're still busy playing video games. I don't know. There a problem in your life you want to talk about? You can put it in the chat here if you don't want to call in. Or anyone else. Apparently, you guys don't want to call in. That's fine. Put it in the chat. I might be able to address whatever concerns you have. If there's a problem you guys are thinking about. Nick Schuliner's awake. He's putting in popcorn. Do you have a problem with popcorn? What the hell? Ray just said he sucks doing a live stream without a script. Dude, it's just us guys talking to each other. How fucking hard is that? Do you not have that in your area? Do you not have guys to talk to? Or do you not have, literally anyone else to talk to? Is that a problem? I'm not here to beat you over the head over anything. But if you have something you want to talk to, That's what this is for. That's why I'm doing this. See, you're not at a bar. You're not at a nightclub or whatever, which many people, many guys or whatever, many girls would be at right now, maybe like a year or two ago, before this whole COVID shit hit. And now most people, they're kind of confined to their own devices. They're stuck at home. Maybe they're playing video games like what you're doing, Ray John. I'm doing this show because I'm not going to a bar. I'm not going to a nightclub. And so it's for these kind of people. That's why I'm doing it. And that's why I say call in. I'm not gonna give your number out to first of all, who would I give your number out to? But the final one was like, look, just call in. I'm not gonna give your number out to anyone. I've been doing this for months now. Do you have Bull Rush's number? No, you don't. You have Nick Schuler's number? No, you don't. There are both people that have called in. And guess what? Their identities are still secure. Whatever. Or you're not, that's fine. I can find other things to do. Just the final point I can make here. Look, I mean, you can regret whatever happened to you, whatever decisions you make. You can regret that. And honestly, that'll be on you. Not a great cigar that I'm working with. You can regret that, but you know what? What does that do for you? And more importantly, what does it do for anyone else who depends on you? I'll give this scene again. You know what? You can't help anybody else unless you have your own shit together. So if you don't have your shit together, how can you help anyone else? Kind of a problem there, now isn't it? Most people think, like they want to deal with everybody else's problems and all this kind of stuff. But they never think about themselves. But they never put together, it's like, okay, if I don't have my own shit together, how can I help anyone else? kind of a problem if you ask me. That's something I always push to not just myself, but everyone else. You want to help someone else? Make sure you have your own fucking affairs in order. Because if you don't, maybe you can help someone else, but it's going to be a real fucking fucked up situation. Ask me how I know. But that's how most people think. You know, it's like, okay, I can try to help other people, you know, just kind of superficially, but I don't have my own shit together. That's what a lot of people think. What I'm saying is, have your own shit together. Have your own house in order. Because you can't help anybody else unless you do that. Keep that in mind. That's what I do. I don't try to help anyone else unless I have my own shit in order. I have a diet and nutrition thing that I want to put for the team Let 'em Burn that came to Salt Lake City. Nick Schulander, Joe Curl, and Amos Joseph. I got something prepared just for them. I'm still working on that. So I guess it's not totally ready, to be honest. But that's something I'm working on. But I have my own shit in order. I'm okay with my weight. I'm okay with my physiology. I know I can do what I need to do with my own body. Can I say the same thing about these guys? No. That's why I'm trying to help them. But we'll get to that. I've got other things going on. That's why I haven't gotten to that yet. But it's the same with you guys. You guys want to help somebody else? Make sure you have your own fucking affairs in order before you try to help anybody else. That's it. All right, you know what? Ray John's here, but he's not calling in. Stefan, I'm going to go ahead and end this. I'm going to take one more puff off of this. I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream. It was a nice one. I'm glad I did it. I wanted to make sure I gave Cris Von Erik like his show, whatever, respect, because he talks about a lot of good things, and he's very fucking smart about this kind of stuff. And I'm glad he gives a chance to join his show, whatever, you know, call in or whatever. That's what I wanted to do here. Apparently nobody wanted to do that tonight, which is fine. I have other things to do, so that's okay. It's worth tuning into Cris Von Erik's channel. Definitely do that. But I wanted to, you know, I wanted to address what this guy was talking about and what he was talking about. Yeah, I got other things I need to do. I got wings in the oven here. That's what's helping to keep me warm. Actually, it's cold out in this part of the neighborhood. So now I have the oven running. I don't have the heater installed yet. By the way, the exhaust pipe, it had water coming through it, and so I had to put a bowl under that. Things that happen, whatever. What's a good cigar shop online? I don't know because I never buy cigars online. You drink energy drinks? No, I don't. Just so you know. Again, just to touch on things, I wouldn't be here if the events happened the way that I want them. I wouldn't be here. This is a rather special thing. I would not be here if I did things the way that I want them and the way that I want them to go. I'd probably still be in the other place. I'd be paying an extra $250, whatever it is, a month to live there in a much less defensible place, which is going to be kind of important within the next 3 weeks or so. I don't know if you knew that. I still shop in my old place, my old town, rather, but it's on the way. If things went the way that I think they should have went, and even though they didn't, and I could have regret about that, of which I'll be honest, I do as a slight point. I wish Hot Russian X was still around. I do. I still love her to this day. I still wish Bola Chaos was around. She was awesome. I still wish she was there. But you know what? If either of them has still been a thing, if they had still been invested in me as I was in them when whatever the fuck happened, I might still be at the old place. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be at Fort Sky Dungeon. And there's the possibility that that might have happened still. But you know what? I don't deal in the realm of damn near impossibility. That probably would have happened. All right, so I went through my first wide phones with no calls. Which is fine. Maybe you guys found something else to do. Glad to hear it. This may be one of the segments, maybe on the chopping block. I don't know. I do it because, again, I'm not going out, and maybe you're the same way. Who knows? Maybe you want someone else to talk to, and I'm here. If you're not, you found someone else to talk to, you go to the bar, whatever. That's fine. I'm glad to hear that. In the meantime, I'm here for that. So do this for a few more weeks. If it keeps going like this, then I'll axe this as well. Probably the end times report as well. I don't know. But you know what? If you're listening, thanks for listening. I do appreciate it. Until next time, stay ready, keep it tactical, and above all else, be chaos, my friends.